Well, we're back once again. You found our party. Welcome to Bros, the Brew. Jesse Joe here. I am the Box over there from Las Vegas. And one thing that we've learned about doing these web shows is you guys love to talk about food. Anytime we put a post up about food, you guys seem to really enjoy that. Well, that's what we're talking about right here, right now. I hope you'll join our live conversation with a very easy question. What's the best food on a stick? Believe it or not, you guys have lots of different answers for this one, and some that I didn't even think of. And yeah, this is going to be very interesting. So what's your favorite food on a stick? Tell us about it right now. Join us live, for those of you watching later on Twitter and YouTube. Hit us up. So, Joel, our first response, so I'm going to go to Andrew, who wrote it and said, any food served on sticks is delicious. I can't argue with the guy's logic. He's kind of right.
I think it adds to the aesthetic, but I don't really think that in itself makes the food great just because it's on a stick. But if you're asking me about the best food on a stick, at least the best food on a stick that I've ever eaten, it was on Utah Street at Camden Yards in Baltimore, and they had bacon on a stick and they dunked it in maple syrup, and it was a big fat chunk of bacon too. It was still crispy, which I don't know how the they did that, but it was just a thick slab of it, and it was delicious. My cousin and I went over there and got it, and I've never had anything better.
You stole my answer once again, because mine was bacon on a stick too. But mine, though, is not from a ballpark. Usually, like a lot of times, New York City street festivals will have it. And you know how it does get crispy? It's deep fried usually. They put a deep fat fire back there and they put it in the oil, and it's good. But the key that makes that bacon on a stick so good, though, is two things. A, when it's not super fatty, you don't want a lot of fat. You need a little bit for the flavor. But part two is that actual syrup they give you to dunk it into. That helps so much. And it's just, let's be honest, bacon on a stick, A, it looks good, and B, it's easy to eat. So I like that answer. And Craig writes in, I'm going to agree with his answer too. Craig writes in and says, at various times when I was drunk at the fair, I've probably eaten every food they sell on a stick, kind of like me. The sober me will always go for steak or lamb kebabs. Skewers are metal sticks, but still sticks. Craig is right. Kebabs are good too. And yes, it can be metal or wooden sticks. Who cares about that? But shish kebabs too are also, it's another pretty good fair kind of food.
Oh yeah, or barbecue, or a pool party, since it's Vegas pool party. That's always like a regular thing, and it's not just, it's like all kinds of different shit that they'll put on different kebabs.
The only thing I am going to say that I don't mind eating food on the stick, but for me I think the gross part is when you bite down on the stick and you get that real bad wooden flavor. It kind of reminds me of when you're a kid and you go to the doctor's office and they stick that tongue depressor down in your mouth. That wooden taste, that's just always flat out awful.
Yeah, I don't recommend eating wood. Or tasting it. Your teeth are all f***ed up. You look like you could open a can with them. So I could understand why it'd be hard for you to get around the bacon, or the kebab. But yeah, dude, just stay away from that if you can.
There's your phrase that pays the episode right there. I don't recommend you eating wood. Very, very nice. Well, you guys had a bunch of opinions. Let's get to a bunch of yours right now because Starman writes it and says marshmallows. Oh, that's good, especially over a fire. And Joel Nolfi writes it and says corn dog. Okay, now marshmallows over open fire. Yes, that's succulent. Corn dogs, I like corn dogs. It's fun. They're deep fried. But for me, I can never get enough condiments in the damn thing because usually you can only put a little bit of ketchup, mustard, and it just goes all over the place. In fact, this jersey, I think, has food residue on it from some baseball game I was at before. And, I need to load up the hot dog with the onions and the sauerkraut and the relish and all that.
I don't think I've ever eaten a corn dog. I think I've tasted one and went, this, and then never eaten. I don't think I can't remember a single time in my life that I've ever eaten a corn dog. I'm dead serious.
I mean, it's just
condiments or not.
It's just a deep fried hot dog, but instead of having a bun around it, it's basically
it was
on
gross.
a stick.
The shit around it was gross. I tried it once and I said, it.
It's just thick batter, but that's all right. More of your comments right now, though.
Gross.
Jason writes in and says, caramel apple, so good. Okay, now, caramel apples are pretty good, but I don't eat them anymore because I've had them so many times where they're so hard as a rock. I feel like I'm going to rip either my teeth out or the fillings out of my mouth. They taste good, but just too damn hard.
I dislike them for a different reason. I like the flavor. I like the taste. They're a great option, but they're really high in sugar. I'm not a huge fan of sugar. And the other thing is the caramel kind of gets stuck in your teeth, and then the shell or whatever it's called, the skin of the apple kind of gets stuck in your teeth. So that's kind of one of those. I don't really like foods that do that shit to you. If you can get a simpler item on a stick, then I'm all for it. But that's not a bad one just because it's a good combo, caramel and apple. But it's also a bad one because of the reasons I listed.
It's another one of those good fair foods, but it's just one of those that's just not for me. I'll hard pass on that one. Luke writes in, though, and says, soup. I think somebody's trying to be funny. Matt writes in and says corn on the cob. And, corn on the cob, there's some restaurants here in New York City, and there's even some fast food restaurants, it might be Popeyes or something, that sells those little corn cobettes, which is basically, like a half-ear corn. They kind of like shove a stick into it. That does make it easier, like if you're at a street fair walking around and you want to enjoy corn, but that's another one that gets all through your teeth and can be a messy nightmare.
Yeah, that's true. But if you can put butter and salt on it, it's not that bad. That's an okay answer.
Yeah, it needs the butter and salt. Absolutely right. Scooters McGavin writes in and he says, at Target Field, they have pork chop on a stick. Now that sounds, I'm sure you've had that, but that kind of sounds just like bacon on a stick to me.
I have not had it. I'm actually kind of curious about it because that sounds good.
Oh, pork chop on a stick. It's pork, but that's one that I've never heard of. That's the new one for me, and I'm sure it's around. It's got to be good, though. Cool Papa 654 writes in and says, my handcrafted artesian-styled jalapeno poppers, succulent jalapenos, stuffed with the creamiest of cheese, wrapped in the most meaty bacon, grilled to perfection, and served on a stick. I tell you what, he's got the final one he sent in for the show, but right there, that sounds like a party to me.
Yeah, that also is another one that I have not tried, but that does sound good, especially if it's got some kind of custom flavor to it. Like, it sounds like homemade is the way to go for him. So
yeah,
I would definitely try it.
A friend of mine down in Atlantic City used to make the same thing. Like, we'd have New Year's parties, whatever, and he would grill them. But inside of that, he would also stuff, like, little cream cheese and kind of, like, melt on it and, like, seal the bacon and the jalapeno popper all together. And it was, pretty much like 1 or 2 bites, you were good to go, and it was gone. But you know what? It was an excellent treat, and you just put a whole bunch on the grill, line them up at once, and do them all once. It's a simple, easy treat that, it's a great appetizer or hors d'oeuvre, that everybody can love and enjoy.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
And speaking of one thing you want to love and enjoy, our web show right here, you want to click that like and subscribe button down below. There it is. You know where it is. So you don't miss all the fun on Kick It Back Jersey Joe. And on Thursday's Kick It Back Jersey Joe, speaking of that, we're playing a new round of Caption This. From a zombie attack to a woman that loves watermelon way too much. You showed her no mercy, and I'm going to show you who the winners are with the best captions Thursday on all new Kick It Back with Jersey Joe. So yeah, lots of good food, and you know what? One thing when we do talk about food in this show, now I'm like hungry and I want to go raid the kitchen here and find a snack though. Of course though, to also wash my beer down and enjoy the Yankee game with as well.
Very important thing to do, especially right now. Do it now. They're playing the Mariners. It's important.
Absolutely, it is. It's important that you eat right too. And you know what? Whatever you guys eat out there, make sure you enjoy yourself. Just like Joel and I do here each and every week at the Brew. We thank you for being with us and enjoy seeing you. And like we always tell you, see you next time, I hope.
Cheers to that.